For the School Breeda Science Workshop, starting from everyday things like the size of an 8-year-old, we got thinking about the size of cells and proteins. During a visit to the biology lab in NUI Galway, we used microscopes to look at cells and pond creatures. The pupils learned about the use of bacteria to make protein for medicine. As part of the Scolegia Science Workshops, we first introduced the students to building design and materials. They got to build their own eco-house in a game where both sustainability and economy were factored into the final score. The class visited Kieran's own eco-house and saw for themselves what eco-living is like. During the science workshop at Scoil Catriona, the students worked with several local seaweeds, doing a fermentation experiment to see how seaweeds can be the future of biofuels. They extracted and analysed DNA and learned how to use DNA as a tool for identification. The pupils designed the next generation of aquaculture farms, integrating salmon, mussels and seaweeds in incredible imaginative systems. During their first workshop with the artist, the children were each given a stone from the beach on which they drew a picture inspired by their earlier trip to collect seaweed for the project. They also drew some images onto squares of paper, which were then used to make paper windmills. In a later workshop, the children constructed their own version of a seaweed farm. Colourful fish cut from sheets of foam along with pipe cleaners and beads were attached to net-like structures pre-constructed by the artists by knotting lengths of paper cord.
One, two, three.
For the Scoil Comín and Katrina Science Workshop, we introduced the students to electricity and the environmental impacts of its generation, using a smart meter to discover the power usage of home appliances. The class explored how the smart grid and intelligent devices can communicate using the future internet to optimise energy usage, reduce costs, and minimise environmental impacts. For our art workshop, we used cartoon animation and the creation of a story as a medium for the children to express what they had learned from Edward Curry about pollution and how it can be combated with conscious minds and new technologies. The children portrayed themselves as characters called the Green Team, using their smart devices to destroy all the evil pollutionators. For the Lettergesh National School Science Workshop, the students were introduced to the concepts of biodiversity, food webs, fisheries, and conservation through discussion and games. The class visited the Rhine Institute's Carna Research Station in Connemara, where they checked out the research facilities, including a finfish hatchery. Textile artist Vivian Martin's collaboration with scientist Luca Miraman was centred around the theme of biodiversity, with emphasis on marine biodiversity. Using the technique of felt making, we conducted 2 workshops with the children, an individual project of 3D felted fish and a group project which resulted in a wall hanging. Scoil Shiguir, Boys National School, Gort, County Galway. Energy harvesting from people to provide portable power generators. The Scoil Shiguir National School project looked at how energy is harvested from sources like the sun, wind and waves. We examined the possibility of harvesting energy from people while they go about their normal everyday activities, and we introduced the students to simple generators. The artists worked with one class and asked the children to explain their experience of the scientists coming to the school through drawing and conversation. We came up with the image of the house with words learned during the scientists' visit. We used wire to make the house form and used coloured tissue for the words.
so tense.
For the Educate Together Science Workshop, we introduced the students to the scale of the universe, from atoms to galaxies, and how energy transfers in that system. The students conducted experiments producing carbon dioxide and explaining how carbon dioxide affects the pH of the ocean, and we discussed the consequence of ocean acidification. We worked with the pupils of Educate Together National School Galway to create poetry about climate change in the oceans. We explored the fundamentals of poetry, and we encouraged them to understand that poetry was theirs to own and define as they liked. We wrote a number of poems together, flowing from their sessions with a climate change scientist. The pupils really stunned us with their enthusiasm, open-heartedness and creativity.
Bunny, bunny.
At a time in National School Athenry, we looked at habitats, first familiar ones and then deep sea, how they are mapped, how we might protect them, and how scientists use computer models to assess habitat suitability. We then went into deep sea food chains and food webs, with an outdoor tag game setting pupils at different levels in the food chain.
You must be smarter than fifth class, are you? What's wrong? It's scary. It's only just seashells, really, little tiny, tiny seashells.
Skeleton!
Bits of
Working with the entire school, the artist explored the children's experience with the scientist. We looked at microscopic images given to the artist by the scientist and did drawings of these images. Of the microscopic forms, the children focused on a mollusk-shaped organism, which they made with wire and covered in tissue.